Hi everyone, I'm Kat and welcome to my channel, Naturally Beautiful Girl. Today I'm going to be talking about a makeup product that I don't talk a lot about on my channel. And so what we're going to be talking about today is why I don't use primers and why I don't talk about primers. So I do have oily, acne-prone skin. As a clean beauty, influencer just feels like a bad word, but as someone that tries out a lot of products in the clean beauty space and talks about a lot of makeup products, I get asked every once in a while about primers and what are my favorite primers. And I always have the same response, which is that I don't really use primers. I typically just do a really good skincare routine. I make sure I moisturize my face before putting on makeup. And that's what I do. And so I wanted to sit down today and really talk to you a bit about the primers I have tried, my thoughts on them, and then kind of like what I do instead of priming. So I'm gonna start off this video by saying that over the past week and a half in preparation for filming this video, I did test these primers and I did put them on one half of my face and then use no primer on the other half of my face to really compare my makeup application, the longevity of my makeup, all of that. And let me first start off by telling you that for me, none of them made a difference, or at least not a significant difference in the way that my makeup wore or on how it applied either. So those are really the things that a primer is supposed to do, is to either increase the longevity of your makeup or help it apply better and smoother and just look better on your skin. And for me, that's why I don't use primer. If a primer doesn't do either of those two functions, then is it really doing anything more than skincare? And my answer to that question is I don't think so. So let's go ahead and jump straight in. So I do have oily skin, and so I have tried out mattifying primers. I have one with me currently, which is the Honest Beauty Everything Primer. This is their Matte Prep and Prime Primer. I also have used the Pacifica Cherry Matte Primer. I think I got that in a Petty Boy box. I ended up decluttering it because honestly, out of the two primers, I prefer the Honest Beauty just because the Pacifica Cherry Primer had a very strong cherry scent and I just didn't love it. And so if I was going to hold on to one primer, it made more sense for me to hold on to this one. However, I don't really find this to be helpful in the long-term mattification of my skin. I do have oily skin, and when I use this primer, my skin still gets really oily. It feels kind of like a silicone-y primer. I'm gonna squeeze some out on my hand here. So you can see it. It's kind of clear and then it'll just rub into your skin. And it just doesn't do much. I don't know. It just doesn't do that much. Really in terms of mattification, I didn't find that it made my pores look any better. I didn't find that it made my makeup wear longer or not look as oily. So I honestly just don't really reach for this product. I don't know. I just didn't really find it to do much. I hold on to it in my collection in case I am in the mood for a primer, but really I'm not. So I don't really use this and that's why I don't talk about it. I have also tried some more glowy primers, and one that I did try out was this one here from Crop. This is a Radiant Glow Primer. And I do love a lot of Crop products. In fact, I think it's a brand that really is underrated in the beauty space. I really love their foundation. Their pressed highlighters are some of my favorite. They have amazing liquid eyeshadows. For some reason, people just don't really talk about them. I'm not really sure why. But here's what their Radiant Glow Primer looks like. As you can see, it is actually a tinted primer, and it really does add a bit of glow and warmth to your skin. Even though I do have really fair skin, with that tint, it still does rub in and it's not like orange. It just kind of gives a nice healthy glow. I think if you really wanted a no makeup look, that you could really just use this product on its own and just kind of give your skin a little bit of a tint, give it a little bit of color, and really have that be the primer. But in terms of longevity, once again, like the Honest Beauty, I put it on half of my face and wore no primer on the other half of my face. and there really wasn't a difference in how my makeup was applying or in how it was wearing throughout the day. So I think, you know, it does add a bit of glow, it does add a bit of tint, and I think if you're looking for a product that does that, this is a good option, but really for me it just doesn't serve a purpose or doesn't have a place in my makeup routine. The next one that I had really high hopes for was this one here, which is the Ilia True Skin Radiant Priming Serum. I really like the idea of this product. It is firming, soothing, and aloe infused. And I love a lot of the Ilia True Skin products. I absolutely love their Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation. I love their concealer. I had tried this out again recently because I heard Cosmetics by Caroline talking about it. She really likes it. She doesn't use it all the time, but she really likes it for like special events or where she really wants her makeup to last. And that's what kind of got me back into trying out primers and, you know, prepping for this video. Was I was like, I've never really felt that primers help my makeup last. So I did go ahead and test this again. I've tested all of these with a variety of foundations too. I should know I've tried more glowy foundations. I've tried more matte foundations. As the scientist that I am, I've really been doing a very full experiment with these products to really figure out if there's a way that they actually work and actually are effective in my skincare routine. So with this one, I have some thoughts on it. I do like it. It's a serum and it's really nice and it feels really nice on skin. Like, out of these 3 primers so far, this one definitely feels more like skincare. And I think if you want to use this product, you kind of have to use it as a skincare. As you can see, it's clear and it just feels like a very lightweight aloe serum. However, the problem I've run into with this product, depending on what I am using for my morning skincare and then what foundation I'm using, this can kind of start balling up on me, which isn't great. And it's balled up on me when I've been using other Ilia foundations. And I don't know, maybe it's a bit of user error and putting too much of this product on, but it is balled up under the Ilia True Skin Serum Foundation and also under their Super Serum Skin Tint. So this primer is a little dicey for me. Like, especially with a primer, you just want a primer that you put on and you know how it's going to perform and you don't worry about it balling up. But because this one has balled up on me, it honestly makes me really nervous to use it, because if I were going to use a primer, it would probably be for a special event or special occasion. However, with this product, it can ball up, so it's not something that I reach for. I would much rather go in with a aloe-based serum, something like the Weis Beauty Nap of the Meadow face serum. I absolutely love that. It's one of the serums I use all the time on my skin. I would rather use that as a skincare step rather than going in with this primer. Personally, that's just kind of what works better for me. Once again, there was no difference in how this was wearing, how my makeup was wearing, how it looked when I applied it, but it did ball up some, so there was that risk with it. The next primer is one that I got relatively recently. This is like a deluxe sample, and this is the Grown Alchemist Anti-Pollution Primer Prebiotic Peptide Anti-Pollution Shield Complex. So this is actually, I think, the first product I've ever tried from Grown Alchemist. I know some people really like that brand. The people who work at Credo have really recommended it to me. I just hadn't tried anything from it. And I think I got this as a deluxe sample from Credo sometime recently. I'm really skeptical of any products that really say they're anti-pollution. Are they? Probably not. But I have tried out this primer. It's interesting. It's definitely different in consistency than the other primers. It's like a clear gel, if you can see it here. And I do have this on half of my face today. You can guess in the comment section down below which half it's on, whether it's on my left side or my right side. My left or my right. Let me know in the comment section down below, because honestly, I can't really tell the difference. However, I do kind of like this primer. For a very particular reason, which it feels really nice when I put it on my skin. Like, it feels kind of cooling. I just like how this primer feels on my skin, and it doesn't ball up on me, but it also doesn't really add a glow to my skin. It doesn't help my makeup to last longer, but I do like the way it feels on my skin. So out of all the primers, the one I am most likely to reach for is this one. So I do like it, but do I think it's making a huge difference in my makeup? No, but I do enjoy the experience using it. I will give that to this primer. Out of these four, which would be the Honest Beauty, the Ilia, and the Crop, I would say this one from Grown Alchemist is my favorite just because of the experience of using it, but none of them are really effective in changing the way my makeup looks or applies. Before I talk about some alternatives and kind of what I do instead for primer, I do want to talk about this product. I haven't actually tried it out yet. I do love a lot of sun integrity products. This is their natural moisturizing face sunscreen and primer. This is what I could get behind for primers. If there are more primers in the clean beauty space that had sunscreen, that would make sense to me, because basically what I'm doing instead of priming is I am using a facial sunscreen. And I do like the idea of this product. I just haven't had a chance to test it out yet. I wanted to wait until I was actually going to be spending some time outside. I am working on a garden, so I think the weather's been a little cold again recently, so I haven't been doing much on my garden because it's too cold for my plants. But once it warms back up again, I am going to be spending more time outside and I will test this out further. But this is the kind of product that I could get behind for a primer because it is serving a couple purposes. It is adding more moisture to your skin, but it is also adding sunscreen, which is really important, and you really need to be having SPF in your routines. So something like this does make a lot of sense as a primer, even if it specifically doesn't extend the longevity of your makeup or make it apply better. So what do I do instead of a primer? For my morning skincare routine, regardless of whether I'm wearing makeup or not, what I do is I first wash my face, then I will go in with some sort of facial mist and also an eye cream, and then I will go in with a water-based serum, so not an oil-based serum, but something like an aloe-based serum. Depending on whether it's winter or whether my skin is feeling particularly dry or not, then I will go in with a moisturizer if my skin feels really dry or if I feel like I need it. If not, I will skip the moisturizer and then just go on straight with a sunscreen because sunscreens are often moisturizing, and especially with my oily skin, sometimes that's all I need. And one of my favorite sunscreens, and I'm going to mention this because it kind of falls into like the primer category for me, because for me, putting on SPF is one of the steps I do to prepare myself for the day, prepare myself for makeup, and I find that to really get a good makeup application, you definitely need to have moisturized skin. Regardless of whether it's using a moisturizer, using a sunscreen, you could use a moisturizing primer, but for me, just a moisturizer or a sunscreen will cut it. And I really love the Josh Roseberg Nutrient Day Cream. I get asked a lot about what my favorite facial sunscreen is, and as much as I hate to say it because this thing is ridiculously expensive, I love this. I did purchase this with my own money, so I definitely felt the sticker shock of this product, but it's a product that I would purchase again because even though it is so expensive, it is a really great product. I get asked all the time whether it works on my oily skin, and I have to say yes, because it is so lightweight. It really just absorbs in my skin. It doesn't feel heavy on my skin. That's a question I get asked all the time. Is this too moisturizing for oily skin? And I say absolutely not. It is a beautiful, beautiful sunscreen, and it doesn't use a chemical sunscreen. It's a purely physical sunscreen, which is the only type of sunscreen that I will use. I also have had in the past the Mauve Day Cream from Hanua Skincare. That one is another really great facial sunscreen. It does work really well on my oily skin. However, I actually find that one to be a bit more heavy than the Josh Roseberg Nutrient Day Cream. So if anything, I would recommend the Mauve Day Cream if you have a little bit drier skin, or if you want a sunscreen for like the winter time, because you know you should still be wearing sunscreen in the winter. I would actually recommend the Mauve Day Cream over the Josh Roseberg. But for me and my oily skin, the Josh Roseberg works really well. I've been loving it. And yeah, I will repurchase another one when I run out of this because even though it's ridiculously expensive, it is a really, really good product. And it works really well under makeup. It's just not too oily, which is a problem I have with a lot of moisturizers. Because that's what I want when I'm putting on my makeup. I want my skin to be nourished and moisturized, but I don't want it to be like an oily, slippery base. And so that's why I tend to just stick with lightweight moisturizers. And here's another thing that I also use as a primer. I don't do it all the time, but this is like if I know I'm going to have a really long day or I'm going to be in a circumstance where it's really hot outside and my skin might get really oily throughout the day. What I will actually do is use this setting powder. This is my like beloved setting powder. As you can see, I've worn the label off of it, but this is the 14E and it's called the Aloe Nourish Prime and Set Powder. Prime being the key word here. So it's kind of taboo. It seems wrong, but it actually works. So you can put a powder under your foundation. And especially if you have oily skin, this is a lifesaver. It really helps to kind of provide a layer of protection between your skin and your foundation. I don't do this every day because I don't feel that I need it. And I do worry if I did that all the time, that would just be too heavy on my skin and then cause me to break out, which I do suffer from acne and I don't want to aggravate it. But if I have an event where I'm going to be outside, I know it's going to be a long day. I know that I'm going to get really sweaty. My face is going to get really oily. I bring in the big guns. And what I will do is I will do a light dusting of this all over my face and then go in with my foundation. And that really does help to lock everything in place. And so for me, if you have oily skin and really need like a mattifying primer, I would suggest going in with a translucent setting powder. I really love this one from 14E. It's one of my favorite setting powders, and it happens to work really well under makeup too as a primer. So if you really want my recommendation of a loose setting powder to use, it would be this one, but really any loose setting powder would work for that purpose. So to answer the question, I don't use primers because I just don't find them effective. Maybe it's just my skin type, maybe it's the type of primers I've used. I mean, there are a lot of primers in the clean beauty space, and there are some that I still am interested in trying. I am interested in the Erin's Faces primer. I absolutely love her eye primer. It's one of my all-time favorite eye primers, so I have really high hopes that that facial primer would also be really good. I have not tried the Alima Pure primer. I love their eye primer. I imagine their facial primer would be good. I am curious about the Vapor, I think it's their new primer. I can't remember what it's called, but that one has piqued my interest too. There are a number of primers that I'm still curious about, but overall, I just haven't found them to be effective. So if you're wondering, if you're out there and you're curious about a good clean beauty primer, I would say just skip them. I would say focus on your skincare. Focus on your SPF. If you have really oily skin, use a translucent setting powder if you want something mattifying to go under your makeup. Otherwise, they're not worth it. For me, they don't really live up to their claims, and that's kind of where it is. So I will let you know if I find a primer that rocks my world, that changes my life, that puts me on the primer train. But so far, I have not. And so I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And let us know in the comment section down below. Do you use a primer? If you do, does it make a big difference? What is the primer that you use? Also, I am curious, let me know in the comment section down below on which side of my face, on the left or on the right. Do you think that I am using a primer? Because I don't think you can tell. And that's my point. So let us know. And if you enjoyed seeing videos like this, be sure to subscribe to my channel so you don't miss out on any of my other clean beauty, cruelty-free, sustainable living content. Also, be sure to hit the bell button so you're notified of when I post new videos. And check me out on Instagram. I'm at naturallybeautifulgirl to see more of me there. And once again, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!